Alrighty, hey there everyone. We're back again with some more Minecraft. Today I plan on building a bunch of farms because we need stuff. We don't have a lot of stuff, and damn it, we need stuff. Last time we managed to dip on down into an ancient city, got a hold of some pretty solid starting loot, and we are getting things going finally. So, what we can do is we can build we might actually have the resources to do it, but we can build an XP farm and then get our enchantment table area set up as well. So we're in a pretty unique spot here today. Go ahead and get the music started here for now. But yeah, we're in a pretty interesting spot. We basically have everything set up that we need to get some really nice good things done. So hopefully I can make some pretty good headway here, and we're gonna see what happens. But I think first and foremost, before we get too far ahead of ourselves here, it's really just setting up a place for me to be able to farm stuff. I don't have a lot of farming space that I can really use right at this time, so we're gonna take a minute to figure out where we want to plant a bunch of stuff. So sugarcane, crops, things of that nature. We're currently on day 42 in game, and we've got a lot of work to get done and a lot of grass to flatten. So I did want to flatten pretty much everything before I really started working on get everything else moved over, but unfortunately it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. So a bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. Especially just given how much grass and dirt we would need to shovel out. So that's something that we'll probably have to wait until we get an enchantment set up with some amount of efficiency. So that way we can tunnel through a bunch of this dirt in the meantime. Also, that's also another thing that'll happen a little bit too often without getting a nice shovel. So, yeah, we need to fix that. Last time we got our elevator set all the way up, so that way we can go to the top and bottom of the world very quickly. So, bottom of the world, top of the world, or not the top of the world, but you know what I mean. We're getting on up there, so we're doing good. And we're gonna go ahead and pull out our crafting table, get an iron shovel back. There we go. And let's go ahead and grab some extra wheat that we got here. And a little bit more out of these hay bales too. And some wheat. Because we're also going to take some time to round up some cows. That's going to take us a while. And yeah, we got some sheep up here that we've been using for their wheat, for their wool. We need a lot of it to keep exploring that ancient city, so the more we get, the better off we're going to be here. There we go. Nice little chunk of wool out of that. That's good. And then just kind of going on up here for a little bit, we're looking for some cows. Now hopefully we can go ahead and snag a small little handful of cows, bring them on up here, and then we'll kind of breed them bit by bit like we are doing with the sheep, so it's not too big a deal. Although we may be looking for a little while, unfortunately, which would kind of stink. Yep, not really seeing them anywhere in particular. If we hit F3 and B, we can see if we got some stuff out in the distance, and it looks like there's nothing on this hill. It's all farther down. And even then, we're looking at like pigs and whatnot at best here, not actual cows, because we want their leather. Which they are not really hanging around. Might get lucky though. Really not seeing too many here. I think our main goal today too is going to be to get a full enchantment set up after we plant. So first things first, farms, wheat farm, potato farm, carrot farm, I guess, too, since those are something that we should care about for golden carrots, I guess. And sugarcane farm and bamboo. And we're basically going to just try and flatten out enough space to get some good farms going in some nice spots. And once we've got our basic farms going, then what we're going to do is, while we're waiting for our sugarcane to grow and things of that nature, we're going to go ahead and make we're going to make our silverfish based XP farm that we've made before in the past. So I have a prior design that I modified that it's mostly the same as their design, but the edges of the farm are slightly different to account for the toggle between a slime farm and a standard silverfish farm, so those are a little different. We can still build it as is. Ooh, perfect, got some cows. We can still build it as we were going to with the original design that I'll pull a little bit later, but once we have that design built from there, we're pretty much golden. So we maybe should also take some time to build a bridge or something going out here one of these days, because we're gonna be a while getting these guys. Oh, right, duh. This will hopefully learn to me, and this will make it a lot easier to get through. So, well, except when that happens, but that's not important. Don't worry about that. They're okay. They'll walk it off. You shouldn't be here either, but whatever. We'll take you back too. And let's keep on dragging these cows here at some point. It's not easier when you got leads though, that's for sure. Even if they keep breaking their ankles a little bit. But yeah, planted a bunch of farms first. I don't necessarily know where they're gonna go quite yet. Just because I want to keep things a little separated from my actual base area that I'm going to build out until I know for sure exactly how flat that thing is going to get, and I can start working on the heights, things like that. So that's a little different. Okay, dude, come on. What are you guys, 3? There we go. Get them up here one way or another. Probably. Although they're not very smart, it looks like, so. Come on now. Yep, not very smart. I'm getting rid of this song too because this one's distracting as hell as well. Like, come on, man. Get the hell out of here. There we go. Don't know why it would turn off the loop. Every time you manually get rid of a song, it turns off loop because YouTube is very smart with how they do their things. And that's cool. These guys are. We're gonna ignore that. And okay, I guess not that one though. God damn it, this guy got stuck. Wait, so he's not. What the fuck? Can I have 4 of them? Oh, we're gonna drag up what we can, I guess. Come back to the leads a little later. Sounds like a lead broke. Kind of the other deal with this too. These guys are really dumb, so even just getting 2 of them up here is a bit of a pain. We'll come back for those leads in a little bit, and if we lose them, then, you know, it's 2 leads. At least it's string now and not slime to make them, so it works out. Like, seriously, how do you not figure this one out, man? Come on. Alright, here we go. And now this one slopes a lot more gradually, so we should be able to get them in here a lot better. So that'll be good. There we go. If they decide they want to try it all, come on. At least we can yank them along a little bit faster now. Fence leads are a little bit tougher and they tend to cling to them a little bit better now. Alright, cool. So with that, we've officially got 2 cows. That guy's alright. He'll walk it off. They're gonna make a baby. Good for them. We're gonna go ahead and pop on down here and see if we can't salvage those 2 leads and those 2 remaining cows. Your mother and your grandmother. Once we get them, then we'll be good to go. And let's see if we can't find them. Ah, there they are. Roughly here. There's one. Kind of curious where the other one would have snapped off at, all things considered. Okay, like seriously, dude, it's there. You're already up at the block. What the fuck, man? Because he got caught in a cave, it looks like. That's why. I'm gonna guess that's what happened to the other one, too. No, no matter. We can get around here well enough. I'm gonna strangle this guy, probably, because I am getting pretty sick of him, and he's in another cave. Oh, I don't think he's my problem now. Come on, fat boy. Just get off the fucking terrain, and then my mouse froze. Cool. Whatever. Alright, there we go. Gonna have... There he is. There's that other cow, too. Okay. This should be a lot better. Slowly but surely, we're getting them on up here. There we go. Okay, and that's most of it done. Good. And we should just be able to yank him for the rest of it. Yeah, they snap a lot better to me. Good. Alright. That was a good update that they added. Oh, except for that part. Sometimes they don't want to follow. I don't know why. It's like they don't know how to jump at all. Right, there we go. They're gonna make another one. That's good for us. There we go. And we got our cows. Good. I'm gonna go ahead and sleep real quick to get it to daytime, so that way we've got some skylight to keep us company here. Yep, that's all good. Nice. And then we're also going to need some flat areas for farming. So, mentioned it near one of the first days, but I want a spot for, and that's our border there. So we've got a pretty good chunk of space we can work with here. Again, we'll have to flatten out a decent bit. But we have a pretty big spot here that we'll be able to use for our basic like agricultural farming. So it's going to be a mix of tree farming and, you know, actual crop farming, things like that. So should be pretty good as long as we can even out a decent chunk of this stuff. And because this area doesn't need to be like perfectly flat, we don't have to worry about any kind of terracing, or excuse me, rather, we're going to be using terracing because we don't need it to be perfectly flat. So it's flat in certain sections is what I mean by that. But we're kind of keeping roughly with the shape of the terrain. We're just smoothing out certain parts so we have bigger flat areas. You can think of them like steps on a staircase, right? Where it's a flat area, then a sudden jump in height, then another flat area, and then yet another sudden jump in height. And it's something that used for farming and agriculture for a very long time, so it's pretty cool. And legitimately useful for mountain villages and buildings, things like that. So it's a good way to work with what you're given, and that's pretty cool. Did not mean to do that. Alright, we're gonna put that away for now. There we go. So for something like this, right, what we can do is we can kind of carve out some of these extra parts, since we don't really need them too much. That's more of a holding area for the allays, by the way, so we're not going to actually have the allay-based XP farm there, I think. I think we'll have it in a different spot that we have. Well, it might be good to do either way, actually. Although we would need to do quite a lot of baby proofing around it to ensure that nothing can blow it up, and then that we don't also run another risk of what's the thing I'm thinking of silverfish infesting any of the nearby stone out here, because that will cause like catastrophically bad damage if that happens. So if there's anything we don't want, it's that. So yeah. But either way, this is getting us a nice big flat area to start with, so this will be good for getting some basic farms down and gets everything else out of the way, so that's pretty good. With all of the flowers and wheat seeds that we've been hoarding too as well, we should be able to make a good chunk of bone meal to jumpstart a couple other things with. Go. Just trying to clean everything up here a little bit. So for something like this, right, since you can see this bit is already pretty flat as is, what we would go ahead and do is carve out some of these extra bits until we're about here, I'd want to say. Then we can go ahead and flatten this out and drag it across the whole way. And then we can fill in the difference with the dirt that we get. So we create this nice step shape that again helps kind of split up our farms into different sections, which makes it easier to manage what we got going on, and then it gives us more room to do certain things in certain spots. That's probably about as far as it'll go here, because we also need to bear in mind that we've got the chunk borders that we need to keep an eye on, so we'll carve this out a decent bit so it's very clear where we can and can't build, just to make it a little easier for later. There we go. We shouldn't need to go particularly much deeper than that, so that'll be good. There we go. And then otherwise, what we'll go ahead and do is, since we're not going to need pretty much anything down here, we're going to take some time to make sure these extra little bits are lit up, but then we're just going to cover it up with a bunch of dirt here. So that way it's all up and out of the way, and we don't have to worry about it. That makes it a little bit easier for us. There we go, we'll do something like that. And then to change up the elevation a little bit here, we'll go ahead and flatten it out to that level too when we get a hold of some more dirt, which I think we can go ahead and snag here real quick. Already about to break our shovel yet again, but that's alright. Same deal, we'll probably end up flattening out this top bit with some more dirt that we'll grab from the base. And then that leaves this bit in the back here that, again, we can flatten out. Gives us some more space to farm whatever we need to in that little area. And then that should keep us going for a long enough time. So this is more of a temporary farm just to get us some basic materials and food. So that way we don't have to worry about it as much as we start expanding. Because there are certain things that we do need to farm a little bit earlier than normal. We don't need to build anything too crazy and automatic, so we don't need to build like an automatic bamboo farm or nothing. It's just build some farms that'll keep things going here pretty well. That'll make things easy enough. Of course, we'll go ahead and brush away a bunch of these wildflowers too while we're at it. Just to make sure we got enough clear space to work with when we're ready to start planting. And then it pretty much turns into what levels do we want to plant things at, right? So up here, do we want to grow trees or do we want to grow crops? And then if we grow trees, what kind of trees? If you grow crops, what kind of crops? And you kind of just keep asking these kinds of questions long enough and eventually you figure out what you're looking to do. And then you get to do it and then you get a bunch of stuff. And it works out pretty well. Here we go, one more piece of dirt. I'll just flatten that up because I can. Also need a shovel too. Ouch. Yeah, there we go. I think it's also time for the good old composter finally. Because we are running clean out of space here. So let's go ahead and make some slabs. There we go. Go ahead and tuck away some of this extra wood too. And some of these extra bits and pieces as we go along. There we go. Got our extra wildflowers. We don't have a whole lot of iron here, and if we use the rest of it to make hoppers, then we are kind of screwing ourselves. So we're not going to use them for hoppers, unfortunately, which means we'll have to just throw these in here for now and come back to them a little bit later. There we go, got our composter there. I think we're due for some additional iron that we need to go get. It's been a little bit too long and it's gonna cost us here at one point or another, so I would rather have that. We'll dip into that ancient city too, I think. We'll go back into there. We'll put the leads back in there. And then, let's see here. We need some coal, because we need to smelt the little bit of iron that we have, and then we need to make some more torches for the ancient city. There we go. That'll hold us over for enough time to kind of get us started. And otherwise, we've got some solid things to get us going, but we still need quite a decent bit of stuff. And hopefully that ancient city will have some more diamonds and things like that we can snag from those chests, because that would be nice. Preferably a pair of diamond pants would be cool. And not to mention just straight mining diamonds is always a good thing to be able to do. When we get some extra iron, we're also going to put some lanterns every 10 blocks, so that way we can get all that going too. We get some light down here, so it's not just a pitch black tunnel. But we can't really afford lanterns right this second, given our current situation, so can't do nothing about that right now. And then, yeah, no, from here, I think it just turns into, we're gonna hop on into the ancient city. Hopefully not get murdered, and then we're good, probably. So yeah, last time again we cleared out to that geode, so that got us some extra bits and bobs to work with. So now we've got a nice solid geode to work with, and that's very good to have. Additionally, I think I ran out of wool from last time, so ooh, looks like we had a shrieker here we needed to be a little bit more mindful of. We're gonna go ahead and now, considering that didn't piss anything off, that means we're clear. That's clear. Alright, clear enough. Huh, whoops. You know how it is, it tends to happen. Now we should be coming up on another batch of ruins, so we do actually need to care a little bit more here, and this may have been a batch of ruins I've already been to, especially given how bright it is. Sure enough it is. I think this is about as far as we made it last time. Yeah, because we made it to the central ring, which is where we got our soul sand, so this is the central ring in question. So, what that means is we're going to go ahead and dig up some of that. There we go. That gets us another place to stand on. And then we get to see what else is around here that we can steal from. I mean, borrow, because stealing's wrong. You know, we would never. Unless I didn't get caught. Oh, could have been worse. Again, those are silenced to allow some of that stuff going. Actually, you know what's going to be useful? Yeah. So I don't actually have a lot of redstone components right this second. So what's legitimately useful is for me to break into here and take some bits and pieces out of the room. Because I don't know if I'm going to get another chance for this for a while. Also underneath a wooden platform too. Good to know. So what we're going to do is we're going to snatch all of this. We got some sticky pistons, we got some levers, we got some repeaters and redstone dust. The repeaters in particular are extra nice because it's a pain in the ass to smelt stuff otherwise. So we can knock out 2 birds with 1 stone there. Mainly because these components are also used in the, what's the word I'm thinking of? In the, right on the tip of my tongue, Allay farm. There we go, the Allay silverfish farm that we're going to be developing. It's also used in those, so we want to make sure that we round up as many of these components as we can. And, you know, these are just to teach about, you know, your different gates and, like, how they interact with stuff. So it's a nice little tutorial. Like, that was an AND gate there that we just broke apart. So that torch only flips on if both inputs are true, that kind of deal. And it's, like, pretty neat stuff. Again, same deal. Another AND gate there where both inputs need to be on in order to activate the appropriate thing. We got a target block as well. Not that it's particularly useful, but it's good all the same. Redstone block is nice. Looks like we've got some stuff outside that we need to be a little mindful of, but that's okay too. We got another comparator, which we don't really need comparators for a lot right now, so it is a fairly niche thing to get a hold of, but it is still nice to have because they are a little bit more annoying to get since we don't have proper nether access yet. Not that we can't get access to the nether, it's just I don't want to make a portal yet, even though, again, we have the resources and we have the means to do it. It's just not time to do it quite yet. Let's go ahead and basically just pray that we're okay. That's showing that redstone signals can pass through solid blocks, but they can't go through transparent blocks. That's all that's signifying. That's good to know. And then this place is just here, I guess. There's not a lot going on here. That's always neat. I'm always worried I'm gonna piss something off one of these days. Luckily, with this being directly into the portal room, we may be fairly clear. So we may not be in too precarious of a situation, but we don't want to assume that and then we get blindsided down the line. So yeah, let's just make sure we're careful. And we rounded up a pretty good bit of redstone, got a nice chunk of repeaters out of that, comparators, torches, the whole shebang. So that actually helps us out massively more than you realize. So that covers most, if not all, of the redstone components we need for the Allay farm. Again, how do I not remember what words are today? Sorry about that. Yeah, no, we're doing fairly solid. And we want to be a little mindful here of the various shriekers that we got out and about here. We want to make sure we have an exit strategy as well in case we fuck up horrendously. So observe. Oh, we're safe. Safe enough. Sure, why not? I'm not gonna lie, I totally thought there was another one around here, but I guess they're just that infrequent enough in this area to not cause too many issues. And looks like they're built up a little bit higher. And again, just to make sure we're staying safe, we also want to try and make sure... Wow, it is having a hard time loading this, huh? What the hell? There seems to be some kind of loading error that I'm not really used to seeing. What the fuck? That is not normal. Damn. That doesn't happen too often on my computer anymore. It used to a little bit more often on my old computer from about 4 years ago when I was still in college, but it's not, it shouldn't really be as prevalent right now. We're doing this to make sure that we can disarm this. The other one, but luckily it didn't go anywhere because we didn't want it to relay over here somehow. Ooh, and it's a good thing we checked because we do have a pretty major batch of shriekers. Not smart. Very not smart. Okay, we seem to have disarmed it successfully, so that's all good. Let's go ahead and get some of that back out and our white wool. And we've got another batch here that we need to get down into. There we go. And it looks like we've got a crap ton of sensors here. There we go. That's all good. We've got another ruin out here that we're going to have to break into. We're going to do that just so I'm going to maybe not tussle with that too much right now. I was going to break it to make sure I didn't screw myself over a little later, but looks like I would have done it had I kept going, so yeah. Now, we're in a minefield here with a pretty sizable amount of shriekers. And unfortunately, pretty big amount of sensors as well. Okay, so that gets us some extra light to work with. Good. We're gonna pick that skeleton skull up as well. Right, and then what we want to do is we want to factor the edges out of the equation here the best we can. Or not, that works too. There's some embedded in the floors as well, so we want to be mindful of that. And it looks like we've got another solid batch of sensors up here. No shriekers yet that we've seen. Oh, and 2 diamond ore. Nice. It's looking safe enough. Okay, so just standing up tends to trigger. There it is. And didn't ask. There we go. Grab. Okay. Luckily, we didn't have anything again. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there we go. That's what we really want. Nice little vein of diamonds there. Looks like it's just the one, tragically, but that's no issue. And the other one as well. We got some gold up in the ceiling that I cannot be particularly bothered to get, so we're going to leave it alone. Also going to make sure we reclaim a good bit of our wool here too. We should have cleared this place out pretty nicely so we can be a little bit louder here and it's a non-issue. Ought to be a non-issue. A skeleton skull, don't tend to get too many of those. Got some extra shards. Ooh, we got a ward armor trim. It's the first time I've ever gotten a hold of one of those. And even better pants because these ones aren't bad. Nice. Some extra bones are pretty good. Ooh, I'm taking those because we'll combine them in an anvil to get some extra bits going with mending. But that'll get us some very good pants to work with that will help us out for a long, long time. So that was a very good find. And we'll pack away some of this extra crap that we don't care too much about. Don't care about the remainder. We seem to have triggered something a little bit there. Holy shit. Okay, well, perfect hoe, just like your mama. Damn. Got enough echo shards too for everything else. And we'll take the other music disc. We got 33 additional coal, which is very good for us here because what that means is that we don't have to worry as much about a couple of things. And with this hoe as well. Oh, okay, good thing we stopped a little short there because I just saw this shrieker out over here. But with this hoe that we have, this perfect hoe, it's a pretty big radius for it to explode through. But at least it's safe. Somehow it's safe. That's safe. Exit plan. Time for an exit plan. So we have got to be a little bit more mindful here because now that I'm actually sitting around looking, I don't actually remember how to get out right this second, which is bad. Very, very bad. We'll know it when we see it, but until we get to see it, we're not going to be able to get out of here safely. So we need to be extra careful for a little bit. But this looks like this goes back to the central route, which means that we can cut through the redstone room and we're pretty much good. So looks like we are able to get out of here after all. Another shrieker out in the distance a little bit. We're going to break these open too. Those look like they're buried in the floor a little bit more, but they're not causing any harm, so we'll leave them be for now. Got another shrieker over there. We've got our actual pillar that we care about. And again, a bit of a dangerous spot to be in. Fuck. Yeah, we're going. Bye-bye. We need to get far enough away to stop blindness. Now, luckily, this should be our safe route back. And since we took the time to light this up pretty safely, but we didn't finish the actual bridge across. I don't think you can pursue. Ooh, he's actually a lot closer than I would like. Okay, let's think a little bit faster here. Okay, that'll get us out of here safely, so now we've got a quicker way back. We're also going to take some time to line the floor with wool. To help us make sure that we can safely get on out of here. And he can't chase us down here either, so we can go ahead and safely skedaddle on out with what we got, which was a decent amount of stuff. This also physically gets us up and out of here super quickly, so we don't have to worry about the warden actually shooting us through a wall or anything if he's too close, which is always great, because if he was, then we would be in a bit of a pickle there, so... But no, we're able to bail, so that's pretty good. And way out on top, we do have some stuff wandering around though, so we do want to be a little mindful here. 1DT despawned. He's gone. That's no good. So it looks like we won't be getting that trade after all to get some more Nautilus shells, but that's alright. These things do happen. Anywho, we're going to keep those safe and sound. I would rather wear these because they're Prot 4 and I need the Prot 4 now rather than later. And we're going to take some time to clean up our old inventory here again. Go. Extra bits there too. Dust, target block, redstone components, animal products, stone blocks of various quantities and calibers that we may or may not care about, echo shards, so we can make a recovery compass now, which is completely worthless here in hardcore, but it is still good as an extra check, so I don't mind it. Let's see here, what else? Music disc, that's cool. We've got plenty of them now, so we don't really need too many more. We can bundle it up there. Got some extra bones for the road. Put our hoe there, and now we have a Silk Touch and Fortune 3 hoe. So we never need to make another hoe again. So looks like your mom's out of a job, unfortunately, but we'll get her something better next time, I'm sure. And let's see here. What else? What else? What else? What else? We'll pack that on up. Still got our shears there. Iron pickaxe, coal. And we got 6 diamonds. So all in all, a very solid haul that will cover us for a long enough time to be pretty happy. But we still have more that we need to go get. It's never enough. There's always more that we can collect. And we're going to worry about that, however, another time because we need to get back to farming here for a little bit. So same deal, we're gonna fill in some of our extra corners to start prepping our terrace work. Or rather to finish up some of our terrace work. We'll just make this a nice solid dirt cube, makes things a lot easier. We haven't found any lapis yet, so that's kind of another issue too. So we can't even get Fortune 3 until we get lapis, which, yay, hooray. We get to dig for that for a while. Break that shovel. But on the other hand, once we do get a hold of our lapis once, we pretty much never need to worry about it again. So, you know, we just gotta get lucky once and then we're fine. Carve out all these flowers, which again, I need iron to make a hopper, and so I can compost all these flowers. I want my bone meal. I don't have to worry about these no more. But we'll just trim out all the grass and flowers to make sure we got enough space. And then that makes it a lot easier for me too, mentally, to just work, right? Where I don't have to worry about cleaning up too much. I can just sit down and build. Also going to try and throw a torch in there. There we go. Also, this will be another little chunk that we patch in. There we go. Alright, cool. That gets us all of the space that we're looking for here. That's all good. And then we can go ahead and just fill in like this little section here. Currently 10:50 a.m. as well here on September 6, 2025 here in Florida. And yeah, it's a relatively rainy day where I'm at, so I've been kind of hanging out inside for most of the day is my plan, and just getting some more time to rest while I still can before I have to start working again next week, and before I gotta start moving again too, so that's gonna take a lot out of me, I'm sure. But I'll be able to get all that done, and it's all gonna be worth it once it's all said and done, so yeah. So next week's streams will probably slow down a little bit. Well, shouldn't slow down too much, but there will probably be like a day or two where I choose not to stream too much, or I stream really little, so we'll see. Still playing it by ear. There we go. And what the hell, since we're already here, we may as well just go ahead and fill this in. It'll look a little bit too awkward if we dig it out, so. Still got more than enough dirt, so we should be able to finish this up, and then we can probably start setting the groundwork down for the rest of our farms. That'll be good. There we go. So with that, we've got a nice big chunk of grass to till. It should get us more than enough space to start with to start planting our various farms that we are going to need. And then from there, we can get a lot done finally. Try and trim out just a little bit more, get rid of the remaining flowers and brush that we got laying around here. There we go. And yeah, we got a nice little valley to do some stuff with. I'm gonna make this just a little wider. Because I think this is going to be a good spot for the sugar cane to go into, so take some time to clear out some of this as well. There we go. I think it is starting to become nighttime. Oh, we have another patrol out in the field. That's not good. We'll go ahead and run on back real quick, see if we can get to bed before stuff starts spawning. We'll leave those guys alone for now. We got an Enderman out in the distance too. Good for him. We'll leave them alone though. We don't have to go after any of them for now. Until they start crap, and then we have to go after them. But with these leggings that we have, this should make it a lot easier, so we don't have to work as hard to get them. So they're just out wandering around doing whatever for now, which is fine. Alright, that should get us plenty of space here. Then all we're gonna do is notch out 2 bits here. And then this is where our sugarcane farm is gonna go. So this will get us enough paper to complete the rest of our books, and then when we eventually get to that point where we need fireworks, we also got some sugarcane to work with for, well, making fireworks, so yeah. Also, go ahead and get some slabs, because we're going to need them here too. Let's go ahead and grab a decent chunk of our cobble and just turn it into slabs. Put those away. Get some of that. There we go. There we go. Then also gonna need some more torches, because we need to make sure that everything is lit up properly as we kind of go through. Go. Slabs not only give us a flat surface to harvest all of our sugarcane with, but they also make sure that the water doesn't freeze over regardless of what we do, which is always welcome. There we go. We'll go ahead and put those at each of the ends. And then I think what we'll do is we'll just go out 5 blocks. That's 89, and then we're going to go 84, 79, 74, 69. Perfect. What do you know? That works out very well. Alright, that gets most of the farm filled in. We've got a little bit more we'll have to fill in later when we actually get some more stuff, so it is what it is. And then as for some of the other crops that we need to go ahead and farm too, we need to make sure that we've got a good bit of space for everything, so I think what we'll go ahead and do is carve this little bit out. This bit will be for some amount of crops. I don't know what I'll put in here, but we'll have some crops in here. I seem to have broken another bit, and we don't even have cobblestone as a whole to patch that up with, so that's a bit of a shame. That's alright though. We'll go ahead and just snag one of those. I should have one other stick. There we go. Make another shovel. Put that away in there. Throw those away too. And those. We'll have to make some stairs going up and down between a couple of different spots, but I'm not too concerned about that right this second. Then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. I think we're actually going to move it in by 1, and the reason for that is that gives us a block around to work with. So if we've got mending on both of them, so either one is fine. this will give us enough space to decorate with some fences and things like that, so it makes sure that we don't fall off, and then it also just looks a little bit prettier too, so it works out pretty nice. There we go, and then we got this little bit of extra space to do whatever with. But we don't need to worry too much about that for right now. Let's just go ahead and head over to an infinite water source and get some water. There we go. We got that up there. We're going to pick up some of our slabs, and then we're also going to decide what do we want to plant up there, right? Oh, we're also going to take our boat back too, now that we don't have to worry about that anymore. Bye, Wandering Trader. It was nice knowing you. Alright, let's see here. What else? What else? What else? What else? I think we should grow wheat maybe a little bit closer to some of the other stuff, so just be a little bit smart about this. And then additionally too, let's also be smart about pathing and things of that nature, right? Because we want to do things a little differently here. So we want to make sure that we have a nice clean path going between everything. Assuming this is our center bit here too, I think it would be cool to have it kind of wind around a little bit more. So basically we've got center block there. That also gives us a nice little margin of space that we can use to do some cool stuff. And then this gets us some center bits to go through. Alright, cool. So with something like this, we get a nice space to grow some crops. I'll probably grow crops here because then I get to physically keep them up against a wall. And then for here, we can grow some nice trees. And then we have more farming slash tree space in the back for some of our larger trees that we're going to have to deal with. Which we don't need to deal with right this second, but we will at some point. So we want to be a little bit mindful of that. Go ahead and dig our staircase up as well. We're going to have to bring in some cobblestone stairs at some point. Not right this second though, that's alright. Maybe we'll plant some potatoes up here, because that's what I'm feeling. This will be our main food source once we run out of space at some point, or rather once we run out of beef and meats to eat, so sure we got enough of this going. There we go. And then let's go ahead and head back to sleep here real quick. And in the meantime, we don't have any stairs to grab. Alright, let's go ahead and grab some cobblestone and our stone cutter. Put our stone cutter there. We'll go ahead and just make a good couple of stairs for right now, like so. We got a nice winding path going in between everything. Looks pretty good. And then we got some stairs we can put in here. There we go. That winds in a little bit nicer. We'll use some of our slabs to fill this in at the bottom. So that way it looks like it's flush cobblestone going all the way in. As you can see that little pixel there, so that makes it look just ever so slightly nicer. And then from here, we've got pretty much everything we could really want. Here we go, we'll do a little something like that. We need to make sure we keep these guys away for right now. We can discourage dropping down here since it's a drop that would physically harm them, so that also adds to the terracing aesthetic that we have going on and gives us just a little bit more farm space too if we decide we want it for something like building an extra building or growing trees or whatever we want to do up here. So again, it works out pretty well. Yeah, we got a nice little place we can work with. What I'm thinking is we will line this outer rim going up to there and there with not walls, with fences. And then we'll have this back wall here be made out of campfires. So that way we've got some bits and pieces we can use to grow some extra food on. Because I think that'll be very useful. Not to grow extra food on, to cook some extra food on. Seriously, you think I'd forget how to speak English and did it again, but that's alright. Anywho, we got a nice little spot we can work with, so that's looking pretty good. I think we'll just build those up. And campfires there. Also make sure too that we physically don't walk onto the campfire at any point, just to make sure that we can get in there nice and clean. And we'll fill this in all the way up another layer. Cool. We'll need some more staircases and whatnot, but we'll worry about that a little later. Again, a fence going to there, fence going all the way around, and then we can do like a triple fence gate here if we need to. So that ought to be fine. Starting to get some extra sugarcane growing in finally, so we can take some time to expand this out a little bit more. Try and get that going. And then let's see here, farming wise, we need to remember that that's going to be our wall. So we want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those away. That can go there. There we go. And we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. And now, even though we could like turn this into its own separate little sub farm, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to probably, I would say, plant a tree like right here or something. I think we should have something that kind of, we should have a nice tall, like single wide tree to, little funky. I haven't had that happen yet. We should have a nice single wide tree to kind of spruce things up a little bit, which funny enough it is going to be spruce because single spruce trees can grow pretty tall like that, so I think it'll work pretty well. Silk touch, we got our fortune. Let's just tear through it, and we got our sapling. There we go. We'll put that there. I don't have enough space for it to grow. And then we're also gonna have some different tree spots for us to work with here. So, I don't know exactly how I want to do this. I don't know if these are going to be more for decorative trees or not, but they're going to be there, I guess, all the same. So that's good to know. And let's see here. Also need to take some time to figure out what we're going to do with all of this. There we go. I have a nice little staircase going up and out of here, so that'll look cool. And then that'll get us down into here. I guess it can't hurt. We'll take some time to flatten out a little bit of this. Not sure if I'm going to use this space fully yet. I'm going to assume so for the XP farm and for a little enchantment area, just so that way we've got a nice comfortable space to work with. And also it's already out in the open and pretty flat, so that helps us too. So let's go ahead and get some of this iron too. Make sure we can get some of that out. Pretty short on iron still, because I'm still trying to save a decent chunk of it. Then otherwise, again, we've got a small room for the allays that we will breed them in and kind of lure them into a pit once we get enough of them. That'll power the actual XP farm. And then basically from there, we're pretty much fine. I guess we can flatten up the walls a little bit. And while we're here, we'll carve out just a little bit more iron. And we got plenty of coal for now, so that's okay too. And of course, we've got our main path that we have here that we will go ahead and work with. We'll go ahead and prep this for these stairs. Technically less efficient, but honestly, I don't really care right now, so. There we go, and then that billows out into this area that we can grow a bunch of trees in, since it's a bit of a larger clearing. Additionally here, too, I'm also thinking we grow trees here, or maybe we can grow some extra crops here. Not really too sure quite yet. But considering I'm blocking up this area, I think it's going to be crops. Yeah, we'll have a nice batch of crops there, and then we'll carve this into the wall a little bit better. Cut down a couple of trees too, since these are right in the way. I guess really only that one, that should be fine. And then, I mean, I guess we've got a nice flat area. This will probably be for bulk trees, so inevitably when we start needing more wood, which will be pretty soon, we can grow a crap ton of trees out through here, and that'll be good. And then I'm guessing it here we'll take the time to grow a couple of extra crops. But we don't need to worry about that so much right this second. cobblestone, right? Yes. Also what I need. We got enough slabs, stairs, and regular cobblestone that we should be able to keep going with a decent chunk of our pathing. Then I think here we'll just pick a spot. Two, three, four, five, six. So we're gonna intersection this to be here. That's what I'm feeling. As we also need to keep in mind some extra fences and things like that as well. Alright, and then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Slab, torch, 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, we got another little bit here that we'll just grow a decorative tree or something. We don't need to do a whole lot here. Or alternatively, what this will end up being is a pathing area that we can draw a path to help connect things a little bit better. Yep, should have seen that one coming. Got a stone shovel for now. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That feels kind of wrong. We're going to put it here instead. And we're going to sneak on it here. And fill this up. Pop that down, do that. There we go. And then we'll go ahead and grab just a little bit more water. And we can cut down a lot of the sugar cane nice and safely. That'll complete our sugarcane farm there, which is nice. Looks like we're already getting a decent chunk to sprout back up. And that means that officially with this done, we can take the rest of the sugarcane, combine it with some books to make some paper, or with some paper to make some books, and then we're pretty much in a good spot from there. That's pretty nice. We're gonna also take some time to connect up some corners. Like so. There we go. It also gets us some nice prettier areas to work with too. And again, it helps add some variety so it's not just all plain grass. It actually looks a lot nicer and just looks good. So yeah, again, we got a nice little patch here that we can do some stuff with. We're going to probably plant carrots here, wheat here. Sugarcane's good. And then we can put some good trees in there. That'll help us out. And then we've got enough space for some larger bits and pieces that we can work on. Just carve this out ever so slightly more. I just saw something in there. Apparently not, but that's alright. Yeah, I think in this area we'll plant a bunch of trees so that way we get a ton of extra wood to use because Lord knows we're going to need it. I think we're also going to connect this area up and flatten this out a little bit to be better in line with the sugarcane farm. The reason I want to do this is, again, we'll have some tiered trees that we can use. There we go. Some snow blocks. There we go. Got our crafting table. This will be our last shovel for a little bit. There we go. Also pack away some of these extra things that we got with our bundle. In the old bundle. There we go. Cut down this tree too. Keep carving out some of this snow too while we're at it. No, don't turn that into sugar. That would have been pretty bad. Go ahead and put some of those in there. There we go. Cool. So now we got a little bit more space to work with. I finished digging these out. There we go. Now we've got a little bit more space to work with. Looks nice enough too. There we go. Guess I can just put it straight away. Don't really need to save durability on the shovel considering it's just a stone shovel, so it's fine. There we go. And then, well, you can have some pretty trees out in the back, or tall trees in the back, and then short ones in the front here. And then, yeah, we're pretty much fine. We got a very nice thing going on here. Go ahead and run through and get some more sugarcane. Try and make sure we keep all this pruned while we're out working here in this field. Yep, there it goes. Luckily, we still have a couple of extra sticks that we got from cutting down that tree, so we can get another stone shovel. There we go. And then I think what we want here is 4 wide. There we go. There we go, do something nice and simple like that. Add in our extra little curve there. That should be okay. Yeah, that tree grew. That looks nice. Need to beeline it straight to our bed here real quick. It's been about an hour and a half as well, just to know. But let's go ahead and see what else we can put away. It's starting to get tougher and tougher given the limited amount of space that we have now. Like that, there we go. Yeah, we are like smack out of space here, so we're gonna need to do something about that very soon. Whoops. Animal products. A little bit more iron. There we go. We'll cook that up. That'll get us a little bit more to work with. Then yeah, otherwise we've got a lot of stuff we can use. So we'll leave this to be flat. We don't need any more pathing here since this just is a natural split that it can go to, so that's fine. Maybe we'll plant another sapling about here, but I'm not going to worry about that right this second. We got some additional spots for some decorative trees, not to mention everything else there too. But for now, I think what we're due for is it's time to grow some carrots and potatoes best we can. So again, let's go ahead and grab extra seeds, carrots, there we go. We'll grab some bamboo too. This is going to be our wheat farm. This one's actually a bigger size farm and it's physically closer to my base. It's important for this to be the one of the closer ones because I want it to grow a little bit more constantly. Just because, you know, we use wheat for a lot of different bits and pieces with, you know, cows and sheep, things of that nature. Carrots are pretty niche. You only need a couple of them for golden carrots and then you're set for a very long time. I don't feel too bad there. And then sapling wise, we're going to go ahead and grab some saplings. It's going to be foggy for a while here as it keeps raining, so it's not a thunderstorm unfortunately, so we can't just sleep it off either. We're going to take the time and effort to grow out some additional trees. And here's what I'm thinking for right now. I think we'll do dark oak like so. And then we'll go out 1, 2, 3. So we'll leave like a 3-block gap between them for another batch of dark oak. And then out over here, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or no, how did I do this before? 7, and then 2. 7, and 2. Here we go. And then we're basically just going to put down a crap ton of trees in this little area that we're going to grow. There we go. They'll grow next to each other over enough time, which that'll be good. Then we've got some cherry trees I think we can go ahead and grow. Do a little something like that maybe. And then as for these, there we go. I already see we got some oak growing there. That's always good to see. We're going to go out and grab some extra cobblestone too, because I'm going to draw a couple of rings to denote our spruce tree growing patterns, because we kind of need those as well. Because when they start turning everything to podzol, to make sure that we limit the growth and spread of it comfortably, we want to try and grow everything within the same 2x2 area, so it makes things a little bit easier to manage. Basically, between saplings, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we would have another bit. And then do we have that here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, we do. There we go. And as you can already see, it's starting to spread. Oh wow, that one grew too. Huh, funny enough. Alright. Looks like they can't spread over path blocks, otherwise I'm pretty confident they would have done so already, so that's good to know. Whoops, went a little overboard there. Okay, there we go. Stone shovel, because we're going to have some pathing to do. Yep. I'll have a 2-block wide strip that goes all the way around. I think it would make things look a little bit nicer personally. Also want to make sure too that we take out any of this former grass. Whoops. Don't need to do anything with that. Alright, we're out of space again. That should cover us now. Our inventory is full up. There we go. Let's go and put down our emergency beds, and it's starting to turn a little bit too dark. I don't want to go all the way back to my base. Kind of just want these here as well. Maybe we'll just put in some flowers or something. I don't know what I'll do, but I'll figure something out. Oh shoot, we dug the wrong one. Whoops. We wanted to actually dig this one out to try and match up the other side a little bit nicer. There we go. And unfortunately, it looks like some of it did spread up to here, but that should be near the upper limit of what it can do, so it's not too big a deal. And yeah, we can cut down that monstrosity as well. That'll be fun. Bamboo. Kind of curious if we could grow bamboo here and also make sure that the trees still grow too. Oh, got a cherry tree. Okay, we're not going to plant cherry trees here because they impede on the sugarcane farm pretty massively. That is good to know. We'll probably plant them here instead next time. So why don't we go ahead and cut the rest of these out for now. Then plant these in a little field like that. And yeah, you can see they're already starting to grow here pretty quick. So go ahead and cut down this cherry tree as well for now. Then we'll kind of let those decay over time. We got these that we can cut down and regrow their saplings too, so that's good. All in all, I mean, we've got a pretty swanky area to work with, so yeah, it actually looks nice, it functions well. I don't really have too many issues with it, although we really need to start expanding out our storage capacities. We are seriously starting to get crunched on space here pretty bad, so I think that'll be the goal of the next time, is to try and get all that split out a little bit better. Now that we've got some of the wood for it too, so we can do this a little bit easier. So we'll pillar this up to 3, and then that should be pretty good on storage. And then otherwise, we've got a very nice and clean farm. I think what we need to work on a little bit better is positioning of certain trees. So cherry trees here didn't really work out too well. We can grow some of the extra smaller trees like oak, which not all of them are small, but hey, what can you do? And then as these keep growing, this gives us a nice solid bit of oak wood that we can use to get some other stuff going. So that gets us those oak fences that we need. And then again, we'll kind of keep going through and planting some dark oak trees along the way. And we got some extra bamboo there. If we grow another one, the rest of this will turn into pods on their respective bits. So that'll be fun. And then, it's bright. Got some carrots that we want to grow there. We've already filled out everything that we want for the wheat too. That's all good. Potatoes, on the other hand, are partially ready to be harvested here. So let's take some time to try and get these all taken out. There we go. Let's go and get our steak tea. It gets pretty annoying if you have to eat and plant potatoes, so it's better to get those out of the way now. Alright, sweet. We've got a full bit of potatoes. Looks like we got more of these growing in too nicely. That's pretty good. These are finally decayed, so we'll be able to get all this back. Then we'll probably add these a little bit better. Wait. Wait on that one. There we go. Get us a little bit more space to move some stuff through. I think that'll look pretty good. And we're pretty much just waiting for these to grow out a bit more. I'll probably embed some glowstone or something, or I'll have designated spots in the sides to have some torches. Just because I know that'll get a little bit darker, but I thought it'd be cool to have like a little leaf tunnel kind of going through, which is why I ended up carving out some of those leaves and then making this into a proper path. Got our spots for our big trees, we got enough spots for bamboo here, which speaking of which, we need to take some time to harvest this as well. Go. Perfect. These are almost fully done decaying, which is good. These are still doing their thing, that's alright. And we definitely do have some darker spots that we need to tend to. That last little bit of stone there, we're going to take care of that real quick. I'm going to go steal a dirt block out from a mountain nearby. Just because I can. And so that way we can fill in that last little hole there. So it doesn't look too bad. There we go. And we're going to keep putting down our torches out in the corners here. Make sure we got plenty of lighting as we're going through. There we go. Nice and clean. That has good lighting. Let's see here. I think we'll do it like that. Yeah, it spreads the light out evenly and then it gives us more space there, so that's good. And then those have already got plenty of lighting. That's got good lighting. This has good lighting. This has good lighting. And then, yeah, we're pretty rock solid here, so. Nice. Very good. I guess we'll take a little bit of extra time to cut out some stuff, just because we can. Try and make a bit of a nicer path going all the way up. It's also high time that we switched out some of that stuff too. And we're going to go ahead and put our extra plantables back. There we go. Also going to take some time to carve out the edges and finally fill these in proper with cobblestone. That way it looks a little bit nicer on the outside. There we go. Alright, and we need to make another shovel yet again. Go. Here we go, nice and pretty. Clean up the sides a little bit here, like so. And then we can kind of just let everything clean up at some point. But for now, I'm gonna block up some of these extra little bits. Clean these up. These look good. And then, yeah, we got a nice path going up here. Sugarcane farm's done. This is starting to grow, and finally, our bamboo still going very well. We've got a couple more cherry trees. Those are nice. Carrots are certainly taking their sweet ass time to grow in. They can also take some time to place in the rest of those. We're gonna switch out the bottom here with cobblestones. That way it looks a little bit nicer and makes a little bit more sense with the campfires that we inevitably use. There we go. There we go. That gives us plenty of space for some campfires. Spots for our fences to go around too. And then, yeah, we got whatever else, wherever else. Otherwise, I think that's going to do it for me today. We got a lot done in one pretty good sitting, so I'm pretty happy with what we got done today. I don't really have any complaints. We got a nice path built. We got all of our farm work done. We've got a lot of redstone now, so we can actually build the XP farm, which won't be particularly useful without lapis, which is the problem I'm going to keep running into here for a while. So, yeah, no bueno on that part. We also, however, need to hit F3 and G to make sure that our hay bale markers are going to be put in their respective chunks, like so. There we go. Because we want to make sure that we're still keeping a good track of all of our chunks here, not get complacent. We've got enough iron now to hold us over on tools as we start breaking everything to death. And then we're pretty much just biding our time until we can either enchant for good diamond tools for more diamonds, or until we can get fortune really for more iron for now. That's going to be our other thing too, is as soon as we can get fortune, whether it's on an iron pickaxe or not, we can actually start snagging the rest of the iron and coal that's around the world here. And then we will be able to get a lot more done afterwards, which is always nice. Our sheep are still out there, but again, they're okay too, so I'm not too worried about them. And otherwise, we've got a pretty swanky base that we get to live in. So yeah, that's going to do it for me today. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see y'all again next time. Bye-bye.